When your paycheck hits your bank account from your employer, or maybe you own a business or you're self-employed and that money comes out of your corporation and hits your bank account every 2 weeks or every month, who's the first person that you pay? Is it your mortgage? Is it your landlord? Is it your insurance? Your car payment? Cell phone bill? Or yourself? If you're not paying yourself first, you are robbing your future self. You are robbing your future prosperity. And I understand the first objection that most people say. And I've heard this time and time again. In fact, I used to say this. I can't afford to pay myself first. You don't understand. My situation is unique. Going through a divorce, or I'm a single parent, or I've got a part-time job, I'm in college. I get it. I've been there. Not the divorced, not the single parent, but the college. And I've been there when I was negative $94,000 with no business and no income. Very, very unsure of what the hell was going to go on the next month. But I made a commitment to my financial future, to pay myself first. You see, making more money won't fix your spending habits. Making more money won't solve your issues. Sometimes, and very infrequently, you have an income problem. You're making $36,000 a year, but you want a Ferrari lifestyle. Yeah, you need to make more money. That's just going to be a fact. You know, you've got tastes and desires and passions and hobbies and aspirations. Yeah, you need to make more money. And you can only save $100 a month or $500 a month or whatever it is. You're never going to get to that $10 million mark that you strive for, or $1 million mark. Cool. But for 99% of people, even including that 1% that I just talked about, so 100% of people, you need to pay yourself first. By doing this when you don't have money especially, you will learn to get so creative, and you will learn to prioritize yourself. That when times are better and when you prosper and when your pay goes up, all you're going to do is increase that pot of gold. You're going to increase that percentage, whether it's a dollar figure or a percentage of your check, whatever works for your situation. Make sure to scale it up as your income grows. But the biggest reason, there's just two big reasons I recommend this for everybody to do. One is habit. If you're not in the habit of doing this, then it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to convince yourself you need a new iPhone. It's very easy to convince yourself you deserve that new Prada bag. It's very easy to convince yourself you deserve that trip to Mexico. And all that might be true, but in a list of priorities, those come underneath paying yourself first. You have to pay yourself first. Number one is habit. Number two is time. You see, I believe it was Einstein who either created or theorized or put the dots together about the rule of 72. And I'll probably do a video of the rule of 72 by itself and the power of compounding interest. And if you haven't really looked up to that rule of 72, you're not quite familiar with it, then I urge you to take a look. But the rule of 72 basically is how fast your money doubles, compound interest. But the other component of that is time. You see, the higher rate of return you get, the faster your money doubles. But that's not the case for everybody. Some people are very happy having somebody else manage their money and make less because they don't want to deal with it, which means you need more time. And for most people who don't manage their money, or maybe you shouldn't manage your money, that means you're going to need a lot more time. Average rate of return for if you stick your money in mutual funds or you stick your money in, it's managed by a professional, quote unquote, you're probably looking at around 5 to 7% a year. Depending on fees, depending on, what you're invested in. Let's call it 6% a year. Nice, easy number to work with. Very quick, rule 72. That means it's going to take 12 years to double your money. Well, it's pretty easy to see how that's going to play out into your future. Even if you're investing $1,000 a month, which most people aren't. That's $12,000 a year. You start extrapolating that out, and you realize that the compounding has a huge, powerful effect to it, but you don't have either A, enough time because you started too late, or B, enough capital to really make an impact. You're not going to get to the goals that you want. Either you need to juice your rate of return or you need more time. And for those two reasons, I strongly urge, no matter where you're at in your life, no matter where you're at in your career, your income, you have to pay yourself first. The amount is less important than the habit. At the beginning, the habit is the most important. You need to hold this at the utmost importance. If you have to push a mortgage payment, or you have to call your landlord and say, I need 2 weeks, if you have to sell bottles or sell that old, snowboard or mountain bike you don't use anymore, whatever you need to do, you need to do it. But don't break this habit. Keeping this as a habit, keeping this as a ritual is a surefire way to ensure your prosperity, to ensure your future financial freedom. Because once you get used to doing it, a funny thing happens. Just like a river, if you're to drop a huge boulder in the middle of the river, well, the water doesn't just come up to the boulder and stop and go, great. Okay, I guess we're stuck here. No, the water doesn't even hesitate. It just goes around. And the power of the water over time, as I'm sure you've already guessed, will either wash away that rock or break it down. Because the water doesn't care. It goes around the obstacle. Money is like water. It flows through the path of least resistance. So when you've built this habit up, $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 a month, a funny thing happens. You start to not need it. You start to find money. The government sends you a tax check or a child credit, or you get a refund because you paid too much into your auto policy, or your employer gives you a bonus because you guys hit a target you didn't even know you had. Or you adjust your lifestyle to accommodate that. Instead of going out to a fancy restaurant every Friday, maybe you go every second Friday. Or you make meals and you don't go at all. Because you enjoy having that nest egg grow and build more than the little bit of instant gratification. But I can't stress it enough. Pay yourself first. Your future self thanks you. This is something that you absolutely must do, no matter where you're at. Whether it's $100 a month or $10,000 a month. I can't confirm this story to be true, but Sir John Templeton, one of the greatest investors, I believe he was the first billionaire international investor, meaning either he made income from multiple places to create his fortune, or he was just a foreigner who made it on US soil. I'm not entirely sure. I've read up on him, I've followed him loosely, but it's been said, at least the stories I've read of him, that he had a rule, I think taught by his parents, that he would save 50% of his income. That's incredible. And we're not talking about millions and millions of dollars at the beginning. He didn't make a lot of money when he first started out. But you can adapt your lifestyle. It's just that most people aren't willing to do what's necessary. And I'm not saying you have to be as aggressive as Sir John Templeton, but figure out where you're at. $100 a month, $500 a month. Write out all your expenses for the last 12 months. They've got apps nowadays that'll track it for you. You don't even have to do that. Figure out where you can cut. Maybe you just need to make more money. Figure out if that's the case. To create a side hustle. And don't touch it. Any money you make from your side hustle, whether that's, coaching violin players, or mowing lawns, or starting a business online, whatever it is, if you make $100, $1,000, or $10,000 a month, you don't touch it. You live off of your job, you live off of your main source of income, and anything else goes into your investment. Do that, and the results are so powerful. A year from now, 5 years, 10 years from now, you're going to get goosebumps when you open up your bank statements. You're going to get Christmas morning. You're going to get that anticipation, I can't wait to open my statement. I'm so excited. Instead of dreading it like most people, where you're like, oh God, I hope I have enough money to cover the rent, and they're like, oh, okay, let's check it out. No, you don't want to do that. Be excited when you open your bank account. Know exactly where your money is. Know exactly where it's coming from. Click and open up your investments and see that nest egg grow. But pay yourself first. I promise it'll be the best thing you've ever done for yourself.